So, I'd just like to begin by giving a little bit of introduction on psychiatric disorders itself as a public health concern. So the case in point here would be the National Mental Health Survey that NIMHANS led. It was commissioned by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, to just map the morbidity of mental disorders in India. So you can see very well that about 10% of almost 11% of adults, they do have one or the other psychiatric problem, which treatable psychiatric illness currently. And if you look at the lifetime prevalence, it's about 2% more. So the various psychiatric disorders include alcohol use disorder, tobacco use disorders, severe mental disorders, and common mental health disorders. So that's the kind of burden that we are talking about. And the latest report in Lancet, which I think came about a year back, pegs the number at about 200 million. That is about 20 crore population, in India. They do suffer from one or the other psychiatric problems who require treatment. So that is a kind of, and of course, psychiatric disorders are one of the hugely burdensome. They form particularly the severe mental disorders and the depression in particular, and schizophrenia. They form the top the two among the top 10 causes of DALYs. In that sense, we are talking about a huge public health concern. And the treatment gap, when you look at treatment gap for these mental disorders, that also is given to us by the National Mental Health Survey. That is affective disorders. Affective disorders are the bipolar affective disorders, psychotic disorders, major depression, neurotic disorders, and alcohol disorders. So it ranges between 70 and 86%. So roughly about 4 out of every 5 persons who are in need of psychiatric treatment, they are not getting. So that is the current scenario. That's the huge treatment gap. Treatment gap is about say 80%. So that's the kind of thing that we are talking about as of now, as on today. So other interesting phenomena is that the disproportionately allocated resources, the available resources. India has about currently 9,000 psychiatrists, 1,000 and odd clinical psychologists, psychiatric social workers, and psychiatric nurses each. So, when compared to the amount of need, you can see how much, dearth is there of specialist, human resources. The other problem is, although I am just talking about the 2011 census, there, according to that census, about almost 70% of our population is still considered to be rural. Of course, we have moved 10 years ahead, and we still don't have the official census data in 21. But 90% of the specialists are actually, practicing in urban areas. So that is another disproportion that we have. So the task here is Herculean to reach to reach at least basic services to everyone in need, and but specialist care is still far cry away. So we are lacking at a huge problem. I mean, we are staring at a huge problem. So from many decades, at least past 3-4 decades, the mantra for this to bridge this gap is thought to be the integration of mental health care with primary health care. So primary health care now is being delivered by 30,000 and odd PHCs, and now the horizontal program that has come up, the Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers, 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers are being envisaged, and many thousands of them are already functioning. So mental health is thought to, is supposed to be integrated in these primary healthcare centers. So we have about 1 million odd MBBS doctors, 0.8 million odd Ayush doctors, and 0.8 million odd ASHA workers and other ground level or the field level workers. So these are the primary care workforce that we are talking about. And of course, we should add the community health officers of the health and wellness centers also. So these are the workforce that we are talking about. So coming to the community outreach itself, any activity that is related to mental health, which occurs outside the purview of mental hospitals or tertiary care hospitals in this case, so that can be called as outreach. It should ideally cover curative, promotive, and preventive activities. And of course, NIMHANS has been a pioneer in steering the mental health outreach across the country by way of actively, conceptualizing, coming up with a pilot model for both the district mental health program as well as the national mental health program. Of course, the DMHP or the district mental health program is an operational arm of the national mental health program, which is a vertical national program for mental health, which is running across the country. So, NIMHANS initiatives, community outreach initiatives have occurred in three spheres. That is the clinical activity, the training and capacity building in mental health across the country, and the research. So I'll be talking about each one of these in my next 30 minutes or so. So when we talk about clinical services, I would be doing wrong if I don't recall the early efforts by Professor Vidya Sagar in Amritsar, wherein that the 1950s were the times in which the mentally ill were being kept inside closed wards, and nobody used to come to meet them because the pharmacology or the pharmacotherapy for psychiatric disorders came in 1953. So before I'm talking about the time before that. So he was the one who pioneered, involving family members. Earlier, all those the so-called mental asylums, people used to come, dump their wards and go away without returning because patients used to be violent, and some of them were chronically ill. So there was no way of handling them at home. So the moment chlorpromazine got invented or discovered, and the experiment got very successful, and thousands and thousands of patients with psychiatric disorders were freed from all the asylums. So even in India, in Amritsar, Professor Vidya Sagar brought in the family members and brought in this concept of family care. So that was the first recallable experience of outreach care in psychiatry in India. Followed suit was the Central Institute of Psychiatry, Ranchi, Jharkhand, and in 1970s, both NIMHANS, parallelly NIMHANS and the PGI Chandigarh, they started treatment camps, outreach treatment camps for persons with psychiatric disorders. Raipur Rani in Haryana, and NIMHANS, the Sakalwara campus, which is also called as the South Campus, which is 15 kilometers away from the main campus. So that is where the treatment camps got initiated. What used to happen in these camps is a multidisciplinary team of, say, psychiatrists, psychologists, and psychiatric social workers. They used to visit these places to provide outpatient-based care. For those who require inpatients were referred to hospitals like NIMHANS. So after starting in Sakalwara, NIMHANS actually expanded these clinics into 7 satellite clinics in surrounding districts. We used to go and visit there monthly, So that was kind of the initial outreach activity. But the framework for us also is to look at the objectives of the National Mental Health Policy. The Mental Health Care Act policy came in 2014. Mental Health Care Act came in 2017. And I was already talking about the National Mental Health Program and the DMHP initiatives. So all the policies have focused on improving access, bridging the gap, and realizing the dream of mental health care for all. So that is a framework with which the outreach activities also have started to occur. So you could see in this slide that the blue graph depicts the camp statistics. And of course, in Karnataka, I'm talking about the 7 satellite clinics. And the orange line depicts the district mental health program data. As you could see, the attendance in the camps started to reduce as and when the DMHP became more and more stronger. DMHP is akin to a provision of basic care nearer to their houses. So as the DMHP improved, the camp attendance came down, and now, of course, we have stopped all this satellite clinics because DMHP is much stronger in Karnataka. So that is what has happened even in other places where DMHP is running stronger. So, but we have run it for about 30, more than 30 years. And in the past 4 years, past 3 years, we have stopped these camps. The other kind of outreach I would like to state here that is our telemedicine center at NIMHANS. It started in 2010-11. NIMHANS acted as a hub center for all the district hospitals throughout Karnataka, wherein doctor-to-doctor consultations were provided in all neuropsychiatric related specialties, psychiatry, neurology, surgery, neuroradiology, neuropathology, etc. Doctors from district hospitals and few block level hospitals used to contact us for their expert queries and for our expert advice and suggestions. So here also it actually peaked in 2014, and then gradually as the district level setup got more and more stronger, this demand also has come down. So these are some of now these two are part of the history. Now another kind of clinical outreach using telemedicine is called as the tele aftercare clinic. It is an online face-to-face interaction via digital platform for patient needing video consultations. Basically for follow-up consultations, particularly those who are admitted to NIMHANS and then who are outstation patients. We have provided more than 2,000 consultations in the past 3 years. Particularly after COVID, you could see the significant increase in the number of outpatient consultations that has been provided. The other outreach services we provided from our department was during the first wave of COVID. This was just audio-based telephone calls for NIMHANS registered patients. Over 15,000 phone calls were made, and more than 1,500 benefited with free drugs. Also, the Karnataka DMHP, we collaborated with the Karnataka DMHP for this continuum of care program. The other kind of new initiative outpatient services that we have started is the telepsychiatric extended evaluation clinic. This is kind of a detailed evaluation for a patient who has come to NIMHANS for screening and whom we are not able to provide detailed evaluation on the same day. So basic physical evaluation we would complete, and then the psychiatric detailed evaluation we are doing it over video consultation. Since the past 8 months, more than 200 consultations we have completed. We need to analyze and see what are the pros and cons of this kind of services. The other kind of outreach services that NIMHANS partook was the National Helpline for Psychosocial Distress and Psychosocial Support during COVID, that was started soon after the lockdown was announced. It was started on 29th March 2020. We had it was actually started on the behest of the Ministry, Central Union Health Ministry. It's a 24/7 helpline. Services were provided in 13 languages, and about 200 faculty members and students of NIMHANS, Central Institute of Psychiatry Ranchi, and LGB Institute Tejpur are part of the helpline. And more than 650 frontline mental health professionals across the country, that is from 20 states and union territories, were part of this. And more than 4 lakh calls individuals have approached this particular helpline, and professional psychosocial care has been provided to more than 60,000 individuals. But of course, now since the wave is on the ebb, we are getting 200 to 250 calls. As of now, only our center people are managing this helpline, but it was a huge rush to this helpline during the period of April and May last year. And of course, during this second wave also, there was a huge rush for this particular helpline. So other thing the NIMHANS participated was the telephonic counseling for quarantined air travelers. During the first wave of COVID, a huge sense of anxiety, as Professor Murthy was talking about. There was widespread panic and anxiety. People were not aware of the correct information. And so all air travelers were quarantined as soon as they landed up in Bangalore. So we reached out to many of them, and a lot of psychiatric symptoms we were able to manage and counsel, and where necessary, Medications also were prescribed, like anxiety, depressive symptoms, sleep disturbances, suicidal ideations, boredom, social isolation. So a lot of these mental health issues we were able to provide solace to. The other huge concern during the COVID first wave was, the migrant workers. Liaison service with the Department of Health and Family Welfare, Government of Karnataka. We visited more than 140 migrant camps in and around Bangalore. More than 5,000, migrants were, interviewed. They were counseled. Brief interventions were provided for these people. So that is another kind of outreach we did. Now, when it comes to proper capacity building, NIMHANS has been a pioneer, and we have we have been training, various cadres of people across various levels, starting from lay counselors who are all people of the people of the community. They're all interested graduates who are interested to volunteer for providing mental health services, whatever they can. Professor Murthy was also talking about psychological first aid. So lay counselors, particularly, they can learn psychological first aid, and then they can go on to the community and provide. So we are involving them, undergraduate doctors, primary care doctors, postgraduates, practicing psychiatrists, postdocs, nurses, psychologists, and all kinds of people. NIMHANS is involved in the capacity building. So I'll just enumerate one activity after another. This initiative was called as the Indians Initiative. It is the NIMHANS and IPS, the Indian Psychiatric Society South Zone initiative, which ran for about more than a year. This was an online teaching initiative comprising of weekly classes for DNB and MD students of psychiatry. Also, a few private practitioners participated in this. We have a YouTube channel with more than 30,000 views, and more than 600 MD students have benefited. Mainly the specialties of psychiatry, including forensic psychiatry, community psychiatry, non-invasive brain stimulation, geriatric psychiatry. So specialty oriented teaching occurred through this Indians initiative, which was quite popular. Now we are trying to expand it. We have just 2 months before we have completed this initiative. After seeing the good response, we want to expand it a little further. This is just a glimpse of the inauguration of the Indians initiatives. As we are also part of the National Medical Colleges Network initiative from the Ministry of Health and Family, Government of India, interlinking medical colleges across the country with the purpose of e-education and a national rural telemedicine network for e-healthcare delivery. Psychiatry lectures are being undertaken for undergraduates and postgraduates, but since it's mainly an undergrad targeted thing, we're not. I mean, let me put it across and say that this is not running so. Although we are taking weekly classes, but the responses have not been that expected. The reason being, undergrad psychiatry is now, I think, quite popular. Not popular. I mean, it's present in most of the medical colleges, and there's actually no big need for. That's the feedback that we have got from across the country about teaching undergraduate psychiatry, because teachers are there in considerable proportion of the medical colleges, at least among the networked medical colleges of this NMCN. So I'd also like to talk about capacity building of mental health capacity building across the states. With digital learning as its motto, the NIMHANS Digital Academy was started in 2018, June 2018. I was also talking about the Mental Health Care Act 2017. And one of the mandates for the state, it's an obligation for the state because it's written in the act that at least basic mental health services are to be made available at the district level, at the block level, and so on and so forth. So to make that possible, it's a humongous task. Because ours is such a huge country, and maintaining a constant source of trained professionals is a huge thing. So with this kind of vision to maintain enough human resources, NIMHANS Digital Academy was started in 2018. After this, We also collaborated with the Central Institute of Psychiatry to start their own digital academy. Also, the LGB Institute in Tejpur, they have started their own digital academy. These are called as the Central Mental Health Institutes, and these are supposed to mentor a few states, each. In NIMHANS, the NIMHANS Digital Academy, there are two arms, basically the Virtual Knowledge Network arm and the Telemedicine Center. I'll just talk about activities of these two arms. The VKN arm of the NDA, that is the Virtual Knowledge Network arm of the NDA, offers 4 diplomas. These are digital diplomas, entirely online, completely digital learning. These are certified courses. These are certified by the statutory bodies of NIMHANS. On demand from the individuals. These are online. Basically, it's predominantly online, predominantly asynchronous kind of courses for non-specialist doctors, psychologists, social workers, and nurses. So that is happening, and these are the spokes, from all these places. People have got these digital diplomas. Doctors and psychologists and social workers and nurses. This data is about 2 months old. We are still compiling the new data. So although more than 4,000 doctors have enrolled, those who are certified is about 1/3 or even less. The same statistics with psychologists, because enrolling is one thing, but fulfilling all the criteria for getting the certification is another thing. So about 630 doctors, psychologists, about 250 social workers and nurses. And so this thing we are trying to increase as the day progresses. And we have seen that the interest for this kind of activity also has increased. That is the main activity of the weekend center. And coming to the telemedicine center, the telemedicine center is catering to specific demands from the states, including Karnataka, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Uttarakhand, and few other states now, Telangana and Himachal Pradesh, Punjab. So all these states have requested for capacity building, and we have been doing so many different variety of courses for these states on their demand. So as I was previously telling, the telemedicine center has named it as a primary care psychiatry program. The main features of this primary care psychiatry program is to integrate. The main aim is to integrate psychiatry into the primary care setup. So how to do it? Relatively long-term mentoring, that meaning being in contact with the medical officers even after the training gets completed. It's predominantly a synchronous mode kind of learning that happens in this primary care psychiatry program. 2 kinds of courses we are offering. One is called as the 1-year diploma in primary care psychiatry, and the other one is the certificate course for medical officers, rural medical assistants, and Ayush medical officers. Training, the important feature of this primary care psychiatry program is to train during real-time live consultations of primary care doctors. So we can sit here we would sit in the telemedicine center, and the doctor is sitting and seeing patients in his or her OPD. And as and when they see the patients, we would try to correct him, try to help him or her pick up psychiatric problems and treat in a very, very time-sensitive fashion. As we all know, each primary care doctor, sees about, say, 50 to 80 patients per day. And it's almost impossible for him to provide more than, say, 2 or 3 minutes for a particular patient. And we also know that about 30% of patients who present to primary care setups like primary health centers, they in fact have one or the other commonly treatable psychiatric problems, but because of the lack of training, that would not occur. The pickup and treatment would not occur. So this kind of training program is trying to bridge that gap. So after the training gets over, we are also indulging them in collaborative video consultations for extended periods of time to just in case, help them to diagnose clearly and treat them clearly. So this I have already told, so I'll just pick up, move on to the next slide. So one unique feature of this training is called as the tele-on consultation training, wherein the primary care doctor is sitting in the PHC and talking to a patient, and that is being observed by the telepsychiatrist in the telemedicine center. So this kind of real-time learning goes on, so that more of skills are built rather than knowledge. And learning is an adult-based learning. These are all adults, and so adult approach is what is required. Andragogy is what we call rather than pedagogy, and it's kind of a bottom-up approach rather than the top-down training, which is a traditional mode, and which we all know has not yielded the requisite results. So this is the kind of some kind of innovation that we have done in our telemedicine center. So this is I just skip to the next slide. So for that, as I've already told you, a lot of patients would, doctors, primary care doctors would not have much time at all to, do a detailed evaluation. So based on that experience, and so we have developed what is known as the clinical schedules for primary care psychiatry, which is aimed at first-line treatment for of outpatients at PHCs of non-complicated psychiatric problems. It's just a 7-page manual. 6 illness transdiagnostic approach we have adopted, and we have validated this also. It contains information to diagnose, and to tells them how to investigate, and also information about treatment, referral, counseling, and follow-up. It's a very brief thing we have developed and validated it in the primary care centers, primary health centers of Karnataka. So we are reasonably confident of that, and we have reasonable experience also of using this for the past 4 years. Now coming to different projects for different states. In Karnataka, we completed what is known as a telemedicine mentoring and monitoring program, wherein ours was the hub at Nimhans. And many spokes were there across the Karnataka has a very strong district mental health program, and each district mental health program is headed by a psychiatrist. So we use the psychiatrist as the master trainer, and we taught him how to do tele-OCT, and the psychiatrist in turn taught all the, he tried to teach all the medical officers under his district this pass on this, skill. Initially, this we did with funding from the National Health Mission after successful experience in one district pilot experience. And after, as part of this program, 38 psychiatrists were, we saw them as master trainers, and we taught them how to do tele-OCT. And they, in turn, in a period of 1 year, they covered 430 PHC medical officers. A total of more than 1,000 hours of online training, that is tele-on consultation training, was delivered. But because of that, and after that, it coincided with the onset of COVID, and because of which, in fact, we had plans to systematically evaluate the impact of this. And because of the COVID travel restrictions, our plans fell flat, and we were not able to assess the impact of this. So that is one regret we have. So this is for the state of Uttarakhand. For the state of Uttarakhand, we are working with that state for the past 3 years. We have completed 2 batches of training, and 1 more batch is going on. All these 2 batches have been given diploma in primary care psychiatry, the 1-year part-time digitally driven diplomas for the medical officers. You would be surprised to know that Uttarakhand did not have even a single psychiatrist to work for the district mental health program. So on service, the MBBS doctors who were serving in various places, across Uttarakhand, they are now being trained. They got training, and now they are working at the district headquarters for this DMHP program. So we were able to just see an impact of this kind of training for 1 year. They were able to identify 11% of outpatients in PHCs as having one or the other psychiatric disorders, and they were able to treat them. So that is one kind of a simple outcome measure. Of course, I agree that this is not enough. We need to do more. So because of which now AIIMS Rishikesh has come up, and we have entered into an MOU with Government of Uttarakhand and AIIMS Rishikesh in order to take this initiative forward. Now, AIIMS Rishikesh is in fact taken the lead in training the 3rd batch of doctors, 15 doctors from across Uttarakhand in this diploma in primary care psychiatry, and they are taking this forward. Coming to Bihar also, we are working with them for the past 4 years. The same problem Bihar also faced. First time in 2016, I think DMHP was taken up. First, we started with 11 districts, 22 doctors. They were trained, and you could see the pre-post differences in knowledge, attitude, practice scores that they had. after 1 year. And initially before the training, only 85 patients they were seeing. It shot up to about 30,000 and odd patients after 1 year of training. Bihar also, after this, 2 more batches we have taken up, and we have been training doctors for catering at the district level. So our NIMHANS trained doctors are providing services at various district hospitals. Over the past 3 years, more than 1 lakh patients with psychiatric disorders have been identified and treated. And now in the next phase, we are planning to take up doctors training of all PHCs of Bihar. This is just a glimpse of the graduation ceremony that occurred in March 2021, about 3 months back, wherein a batch of DPCP doctors were certified. Coming to and of course in Bihar also, we have entered into an MOU with AIIMS Patna, so that they can continue to act as a mentoring agency for the entire state of Bihar. Chhattisgarh, the same story. The Chhattisgarh, in fact, our involvement has been much more, because systematically we have been involved with the doctors at the district level, at the PHC and CHC level, also the field level workers. Here also the same story. I'd like to mention briefly about this CHAMP, that is the Community Mental Health Care Telementoring Program, wherein all the medical officers and assistant medical officers of all the PHCs of Chhattisgarh, we just now completed, a certified training of all these doctors. It was inaugurated in April 2019, and in June 2021, we completed the first phase of training of all these people. They were actually trained in what is known as the certificate course of, certificate course in primary care psychiatry. So more than 1,500 hours of training was delivered, more than 500 teleconsultation, direct mentoring consultations. Out of enrolled 1,500 doctors, about 600 are certified. And in the self-reporting, more than 32,000 patients they have identified, which was not to be the case before the CHAMP existed. And you could see in this background that all sorts of psychiatric disorders, they have reasonably identified. These are all self-reports. These are not research reports. These are all self-reports given by them. And this is just the kind of beginning that we need, that we have the data, that we need to go beyond this and assess them systematically. So tobacco, depression, anxiety, somatization, even severe mental disorders and alcohol problems have been identified and treated. Not only doctors, so psychologists and nursing and psychiatric social workers of DMHP Karnataka, we have been handholding them for the past 4 years with the periodic this thing. As I was telling of lay counselors, we have the telemedicine center in the past 2 years have completed 8 batches, more than 400 of lay counselors have been trained. And they are providing services.
You call me, huh?
I think somebody is.
Yes, please, all participants, please mute yourself.
Thanks,
Sandeep ji.
You are called. You are sent to this thing, Raghavan sir.
Okay. So this is about.
No, I have been putting in the group since last 1 week. Why are people
Sandeep,
not sending? Yeah.
Sandeep, उनको mute कर दीजिए.
नहीं, मैंने बोला था ना, started doing. People should start sending. Otherwise, Raghavan sir will call Anshul sir, and Anshul sir is asking you.
Okay. So the COVID has actually given us. I mean.
Okay, 14 is too high actually. You have to.
I'm so sorry. Will all participants please mute yourself? Sandeep, आप सो रहे हैं?
Exactly at
Sorry,
what level you
Dr.
are this thing? I mean, look over. I mean, what level you are? That you have to see, and you just chart it.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. So you could also this graph gives a glimpse of the sessions and outreach activities that has been undertaken. You could see almost 500 training sessions occurred in the last year after COVID has started. And several videos, several training programs, in fact, many videos and training programs, information pamphlets, posters, flyers, and hundreds of newspaper articles and online blogs, forums have been done by NIMHANS as an outreach activity by all the departments, not only psychiatry, but we have departments of child and adolescent psychiatry, integrative medicine, psychology, psychiatric social work, nursing, center for psychosocial support and disaster management, mental health education, etc. So all these have combined into various kind of activities. This is just and also NIMHANS, because the activities were so much, we thought that it is better to come up with NIMHANS our own bulletin. So, just to showcase all activities, outreach activities, particularly that NIMHANS has done during this COVID. And it is actually there and put up in our website, NIMHANS Bulletin, every week. Also collaboration with many non-governmental organizations, notable, our community team has been engaging with Chitta Sanjeevani Charitable Trust, which actually has come forward to provide free medications from their funds to outreach camps that our teams conduct in multiple places. We also have collaboration with Rotary International and also corporates. Corporates are coming up recently. So we are actually planning to take up these activities in a very big way, particularly the capacity building initiatives. The third wave is coming, and we need to plan. We are planning to train the medical officers, nurses, and field level workers in post-COVID mental health care, and COVID-related mental health issues. There was some discussion about it, so we are planning to take this activity pan-India with many of these NGOs. Has policy making, NIMHANS also has worked very closely with the state government. One of the important developments in the mental health scenario of the country is the Mental Health Care Act 2017. And with the vision of administering the Mental Health Care Act digitally, we came up with this digital platform called as a mental health management system, the KMHMS, in which a lot of management of Mental Health Care Act can be done through this. Like, for example, there's a portal for review board, there is a patient portal board, there is a portal for state mental health authority, the statutory bodies, the advanced directives, and so on and so forth. So this was done in collaboration with the government of Karnataka and the International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore. There are a lot of things. This is just the functional block and applications. There are a lot of portals for, as I've told, patient self-care, mental health directory, the EHR system, the connections to PHCs, CHCs, and so many of the things are there. It is just it was inaugurated recently, and still it is. I should say that it's not taken up in a very big fashion, but slowly it is occurring. Also, many guidelines after the Medical Council of India came up with the telemedicine guidelines. We also, came up with tele-psychiatry operational guidelines, the tele-nursing practice guidelines, guidelines for tele-psychotherapy and tele-psychiatric social work, and also guidelines on managing mental illness in hospital settings during COVID at the request of the ministry, and of course, the COVID and mental health related volumes also that was talked about. Also, I was talking about the health and wellness centers, which are being manned by the mid-level health providers to provide comprehensive primary healthcare. This is kind of a horizontal program which the government of India envisages, and the comprehensive primary healthcare has 12 components, and one component of that is on mental health, and the operational guidelines and the manuals for those mental health has been done by NIMHANS, and we also have trained a lot of master trainers at the national level, also at the state level, in providing this comprehensive primary mental health care. Also, the climate change and health is coming up as a very big issue, and NIMHANS has been identified as one of the Center for Excellence for Mental Health by the Union Ministry. The climate change and mental health is a very big issue, and it's a very new issue also, and we have started working on it. We had an initial program about 1 month before, and we have entered into an MOU with the central government for taking up many activities, basically capacity building, increasing awareness, and do the surveillance of the impact of climate change on mental health issues. There are so many other vectors, vector-borne disease, infectious disease, so many waterborne diseases. There are separate centers for excellences for that, like 17 are there. NIMHANS has been identified for mental health. So that is another outreach activity that we have done. Coming to the research, I think so many activities we have done, and it's important for us to establish the validity of all these findings. Or we see something, whether it is really true or not, we need to really examine that. So we, in this ICMR proposed research, we are trying to see which kind of training is better. Training as usual, that is a classroom-based training versus digital training. We want to see the effect on the reduction of treatment gap, whether the training is acceptable, sustainability and challenges posed. These are some of the things, some of the publications that we have got. It's still ongoing. We still have to analyze the results and see. But initial results are encouraging. Grassroots level workers like ASHA workers have been a very, they have, in fact, we have shown that they can actually identify persons with mental illness very easily, and then they can contribute in a very, significant fashion. But using digital technology among ASHAs has its own problems. So we have taken note of that as well. And of course, impact evaluation, some of the programs, some of the papers that have come up, but all these are, these are not prospective, proper research-based evaluations. We need huge funding for that. We have applied for a couple of agencies, and we plan to do it in a systematic fashion. These kind of works are kind of a service-based or a training-based research, wherein as part of the training, we get some data, and whatever data we have, we have analyzed, and we have been able to publish them. And many on telemedicine services itself, I have talked about the utility and feasibility of that, and provision of telemedicine services for, Nirashritara Parihara Kendras, where it's chronically underserved areas, teleneurology consultation services and aftercare that I have talked about. And also recently, a review has been published, summarizing all the telemedicine initiatives under the National Mental Health Program that NIMHANS has done. More than 35,000, 35,000 participants have benefited by this, and we need to see how to move forward. ASHA's training in mental health that I have already spoken, and what the role they did during the COVID pandemic. In fact, delivering medicines to their doorsteps, because patients were not able to reach the primary health centers. So that kind of work also has been done, and that's been documented. So this is the just a glimpse of the activities, ma'am. I'd like to end the presentation with acknowledging our NIMHANS administration, the departments of psychiatry, including the community, the team, the emergency psychiatry, and other specialty sections, other departments, the Health and Family Welfare Department, Government of Karnataka, other state governments, Union Health Ministry, NGOs, and corporates. Thank you very much.